Good morning, and thank you for tuning in to this special webcast for the Office of Teaching and Learning. I'm Amanda Ellis, Associate Commissioner over this great office, and we're glad you're here. So clearly you've tuned in because you are a recipient of the Math Achievement Fund grant, and this year we're doing orientation a little bit differently to really try to accommodate your schedules and funds. We are providing this live through our webcast. So before we get started, I want to introduce Aaron Chavez as our coordinator. Aaron, thank you, and Meredith Brewer from the Kentucky Center for Mathematics. They're both going to be sharing the information you need to know this year so you can successfully implement the interventions and fulfill the grant requirements to best serve our students. But before we get started, I want to remind you or give you the opportunity to log in, take a minute to do this, to the gosoapbox.com. You can see the website on your screen. It gives you the full address, the HTTPS, and then it's the app.gosoapbox.com. When it asks you for an access code, just type in OTL. And it will give you the opportunity to type in questions as you are listening to the webcast so we can address those questions to the best of our ability at the end of this webcast, or at the end of this session. If there's something that we need to do some further research on, we will certainly respond in writing and provide that to all the grant recipients, because any type of questions and clarity can always help to ensure that you're doing what you need to do. So at this time, I'm going to turn it over to Aaron and Meredith, and we just appreciate you tuning in. Good morning, ladies.
Good morning. All right. So thank you for joining us this morning. We're going to just go over some highlights of what we'll be covering for this webcast. We're going to talk about the MAF assurance document. We're going to talk about the data collection timeline for the MIT and the +2 teachers. We'll also hit on the professional learning opportunities that were just recently released from KCM. The admit dates that are only for principals this year, and platforms for communication. So let's go over just some highlights of the MAF grant. The MAF grant is to provide schools with funds for teacher training and implementation of intervention services to meet the needs of students who are struggling in mathematics. It's also to promote evidence-based practices in mathematics and align with data dependent on the needs of identified students. So some of the MIT expectations this year, you will still continue using IC, the intervention tab, although I will tell you that we have minimized the amount of fields that you will have to enter for this year, and so we will have a data collection chart for you to see into what those fields are. We ask that MIT's complete teacher assessment surveys directed by KDE and KCM, and to attend fully and participate in all required MIT trainings, meetings, visits that are specified from KDE and KCM, which I believe half of you were through those. We also are asking that you will collaborate with the DAC, the District Assessment Coordinator, this year 3 times to upload students' progress monitoring data using EasyCBM. We will be giving more training on that with EasyCBM as well as the assessment tab, and we will use the platform of Google Classroom. We ask that you collaborate with your regular classroom teachers weekly. Now, again, remember, the MITs, at least 50% of their time should be spent with intervention students and giving that instruction. But we ask about a ballpark of weekly to collaborate with the classroom teachers. And to attend approved statewide mathematics conference. This is for the MIT only this year. We just want to give another opportunity for those teachers to grow professionally.
And something important to note, the KCM conference website will go live on September 1st. So if you're interested in submitting a proposal for the conference this year, you can submit it at that time.
Perfect. So let's talk a little bit about data collection for the MITs. We have 3 different systems. So we have Abacus, where you will upload your end of year reflection. We also have Infinite Campus, where just again like you did last year, but minimizing the fields that you'll have to enter in information into the intervention tab and then the assessment tab. And then Google Classroom, which I will send you an invite today for the schedule, the MIT schedule, and the end of year survey.
So So the end of year reflection is something that we've added this year. It'll be an assignment on your Abacus account, and you'll just be asked to reflect upon your year as an interventionist.
Perfect. So just to get a little bit more specific, to give you some certain dates for the MIT's timeline, September 15th is when we're asking all MITs to upload the schedule into Google Classroom. September, we have Easy CBM training. October, we'll have the assessment tab training. And then October 30th, January 30th, May 30th, we will ask for you to have completed intervention tab and assessment tab for those student outcomes. And then June, the completion of the end of the year survey. And that's also in Google Classroom.
So our +2 teachers this year have a few responsibilities as far as our program evaluation, as well as their professional learning experiences that they'll be involved in. Our +2 teachers will need to use the Infinite Campus Intervention tab to identify their students. You'll also be asked to complete any surveys that are sent from the KCM or the KDE. And we're adding this year a student work protocol. We're hoping that this will help as we take the experiences that we learn with our professional learning and translate those into our instructional practice. And your regional consultant that is assigned to your school will help you with the student work protocol. And we'll be doing that 3 times this year on 3 different students will be the expectation. But we hope that it is a tool that you find really helpful that you'll want to use with your full class. You're also expected to attend and participate in all required meetings. And again, as Erin said, the +2 teachers are not required to attend a math conference this year, but we certainly encourage your participation if your school is able to support that. And you'll also be asked to collaborate weekly with the MIT. And that can be collaboration with co-teaching, it can be lesson planning, just to meet with them,
PLCs.
to any opportunity where you can meet together as a team. The professional learning requirements have changed from last year, so the +2 teachers from last year had a slightly different experience than the ones this year. The primary teachers that registered in the spring for their comprehensive course for primary grades will complete the full course, which is 8 days. You had 4 of those days this summer. Mm-hmm. The intermediate teachers are expected to attend 5 days this year, 3 days met in the summer. We have a Scott County group that will begin meeting in September. And that was the Explorations in Mathematical Routines and Number Talks course. You're also expected to sign up for 2 additional days of professional learning, and those courses are available on the KCM website in our course catalog, and the courses that can satisfy that requirement are indicated as such. We would encourage you to attend, if possible, a more comprehensive pathway, and that is outlined in the catalog as well. And for those teachers that both the primary and the intermediate that select to attend a more comprehensive pathway at minimum 7 days and complete some listed assignments, you can earn the KCM specialist designation for your grade band. So that's something we would encourage you to do if you're able to do so.
Nice.
So for data collection, you'll be using the Abacus portal, again, just as we had last year, and that's through KCM's website. You'll be submitting the student work protocol, so you'll be completing that student work analysis chart 3 times on 3 different students, and we have recorded a webinar specifically about that protocol that you'll have access to in your Google Classroom. Mm-hmm. And you'll also be asked to do that end of the year reflection, and that'll just be reflecting upon the year in the program in narrative form. You'll also be asked to go on Infinite Campus, as we said, and complete those limited fields about your students and just indicate the students on your roster in that tab. And then the KCM will be sending 2 survey links, one for the MBS, which are math belief scales, to be completed, and then the overall evaluation survey. And those will be sent via email. So the timeline, as we said, you'll have 3 submissions of that student work analysis chart, and that'll be done through Abacus. You'll also have 3 submissions of your intervention tab data as outlined on the timeline. And if at any point you have questions about Abacus or any of the data collection systems that we have, please don't hesitate to email us. So the team expectations, we hope that you are meeting as a team, so that would be the +2s from this year, the MIT, the administrator, as well as the +2 teachers from last year. The way that the program can be the most effective is by having that growing team working together to address school goals and to really impact the culture in the building. So pulling in those experts that you had developed last year is really encouraged. And so we do hope that you're meeting regularly with the team to address the school goals that you have. And we also would encourage you to think about ways to support your colleagues, whether that be through mentorship, providing professional learning for the teachers in your building, or sharing resources and information that you have. Someone from the team does need to upload to Abacus the universal screener that your school has identified. Many of our schools use MAP or iReady, and all of the required information that we need for that is listed on the KCM website. And if you have questions, you can email abacus@nku.edu, and we can help you with that school-wide upload.
Okay, so let's talk a little bit about the principals at the MAF schools. A school principal shall participate in the admin event held by KDE and KCM, and below you have the links and the dates for these sessions. They're half-day sessions. There are 2 in Franklin County, which happens to be here at KDE, another one in Warren County, and also another one in Rowan County. Another super important expectation for the principal is just to support the MAF team. They need your support in a successful implementation of the grant expectations.
We really view the MAF as an outstanding opportunity for your school. We know that there are lots of expectations that we've highlighted today, but we do hope that you look at this as an opportunity to really impact the culture in your building. And so utilizing the team and providing opportunities for their growth would really result in the greatest impact.
Yeah, for our students. Yep. So next steps. Just to recap, so our +2 teachers will access the online student work protocol training in Google Classroom. It's already there. Again, you'll get an invite from me for the Google Classroom. And then we also ask that you register for those 2 days, the intermediate teachers, through the KCM Professional Learning. MITs, you'll have access to online Easy CBM training in the assessment tab, and that's coming soon. And I will notify you and let you know when that's ready to go. And that will be through Google Classroom. And please, we ask that September 15th that you have the MITs have their schedules uploaded into Google Classroom. And then again, we ask for principals to register for the upcoming ADMIT sessions, and those links are live and ready to go. We want to thank you today. Please do not hesitate to ask any questions that you will have. My contact information is right there, as well as Meredith is as well.
Okay, thank you ladies so much. We did have one question that was brought up initially is, will the links that you shared with the administrative trainings be shared out today?
Yes.
And so we are going to send those out. We will definitely email those out to you, as well as a link to this webcast today. We had just shy of, we're right around 200 who are linked in, and I know some of you initially had a little bit of trouble getting the YouTube to upload, but that is all completely archived and will be sent to you, that link. So if there's anything you missed initially, we'll make sure and have that to you. I'm going to give some people a time to ask any additional questions if they have it. But once we end this webcast, since we do have the Read to Achieve that will start at 10:30, we'll pause for a little bit to allow those who only have Read to Achieve to actually log in at the right time. But it really looks like there is not another question. Clearly, if you do have something that comes up, I know ladies, you're happy to answer those questions.
Yes.
There's very much contextual questions that happen with the school setup and staffing and just how things are organized and to fulfill the expectations. We can definitely email Erin or the MAF email or Meredith. We did get another question come up and said, can all the requirements be emailed out as well? And
Sure.
Absolutely, we will send those out all in one big package of an email to make sure everybody has your information.
Yes.
Good question. And then we're getting questions now. Here we go. Who will download the student protocol?
So the +2 teachers will be utilizing the student work protocol, and that will be available in their Google Classroom folder, as well as on the KCM website. And so it is the +2, those classroom teachers, that will be using the student work protocol this year. But we really feel like it's a tool that the MIT would benefit from using as well. But the expectation is for the +2 teachers to upload on 3 students their analysis of that student work.
Yes.
We have another question. How do the +2 teachers get into Abacus?
So each plus 2 teacher will have an Abacus account set up. They're actually set up now. So if you go on the KCM website and click on Abacus, down at the bottom of the page, there's a direct link to Abacus. You can click the forgot my password, and that'll actually send it back to your email account, or you can contact the KCM at abacus@nku.edu, and we can send you that information. But each plus 2 teacher has an account.
Okay, we have another question. Will the MIT have access to the Google Classroom materials today?
Yes. Yes, I will send an invite link, and it goes right to your email, and then you'll be ready to go.
Wonderful. And we have another question. Will past MITs have the same regional consultant?
Not necessarily. So we do have some changes with our regional consultants because of just some changes and some retirements. So exciting and happy reasons, but we have some of our regional consultants that have retired. And so your regional consultant should have contacted you and start to set up that first visit. If you have not heard from them, please do email me and I will put you in touch with them.
Okay, we have another question that came in. Are we sending out the informed consent this year?
Yes, so the informed consents are available on the KCM website. If you go to the MAF tab, all of the consent forms are listed in the various languages that we have them translated. And so the MIT will be expected to send home those consents to their intervention students. And we would ask that the plus 2 teachers send home a consent with the 3 students that they're identifying for the student work protocol. If you have any questions about the consent form, please do email me. I'm happy to explain sort of the purpose of that consent form and why we collect that. It really is to be sure that parents are aware of what's happening with their student information. So we want to alleviate any concerns about that. The participant consent, though, this year, so for the teachers that are enrolled in professional learning, that's actually going to be collected electronically, and that assignment is available on your Abacus homepage. So that will be submitted, so the teacher themselves, so the KCM participant, will be able to complete that consent form directly online.
Okay, great. We have 2 more questions that have popped up. When will we have our consultant contact?
Soon. They should have reached out to you already. So if you have not received an email, I would encourage you to check your spam folder. Unfortunately, we do sometimes have our emails get caught in spam or clutter folders, but they should be setting up that first visit here during the month of September.
Okay. This one, it says, do we need to download them to Abacus?
So the consent forms will be submitted to Abacus. We're going to wait to ask you to submit those consent forms until we get the student information from Infinite Campus. We tried last year and it worked well that we had the student information sent to us from the department so that we could upload those student IDs so that the teachers did not have to input them more than once. So once we have that, you'll be able to individually upload consents for your students. So it'll probably not be until November, but please do send the consents as soon as you begin intervention services and just keep them on hand to upload.
Okay, we have another 2 questions. It says, to recap, MITs do need to attend the math conference this year, correct?
That is correct. So a statewide math conference, KCTM will be in November, and KCM conference is in March. I do believe there's a process to request to attend an alternative conference, and so they can contact Aaron about that.
To be approved.
Okay, and then the weekly collaboration, is that for our plus 2 teachers or any teachers in the building?
So plus 2 teachers for the weekly collaboration with the MIT. You could also include your principal as well, and it also could be a time when the RC is in the building as well, just to make sure that everyone is on the same page and we're seen as the MAF team to collaborate.
Yes, and I would say that anytime, so the MIT, as Aaron said, is expected to spend 50% of their time with students directly, so doing small group intervention. If all of the intervention students that have been identified have been served, then they do have flexibility for that other 50% of their time to provide support services for the other teachers in the building. That time should be used for that weekly collaboration with the plus 2 teachers, but can also be used with other teachers in the building. So that MIT really is an expert that should be accessible to all teachers.
Okay, we have another question that popped up to the screen, so I missed it. Is the AD MIT meeting mandatory for principals?
Yes.
Yes. It is. That's one of their expectations.
And those are the dates we'll be sending out that you all reviewed in the PowerPoint. So
Yes.
locations and dates and
Yes.
times.
Yes.
Okay, and I believe believe that's it. So we will leave this up. If you still send questions, we'll definitely send those out to Erin and Meredith to be able to address those and make sure you are clear on any expectations or protocols that need to be followed. Ladies, thank you so much again.
Thank you.
We will take a little bit of a pause since we have about 10 minutes. It's 20 after 10. We will start the RTA promptly at 10:30, and so we ask you just put us on pause and we'll reload and start up again in 10 minutes. Thank you so much for tuning in.